Hey YouTubers, a lot of people are talking about last night's upset, not just in the gubernatorial race, but also in both houses of the legislature and in local races statewide. Something happened last night that has never happened in New Jersey history. The Democrats secured not only the governorship, but supermajorities in both the state Senate and the state Assembly. What that means is now the Democrats can effectively prevent any of Governor-elect Murphy's vetoes from being overridden. I want to talk about why the Democrats were so successful and the Republicans fell on their face. A lot of people are out there saying it's a message to Trump, or people had 8 years of Christie and 8 years were enough. But that has nothing to do with it. That is pretty much total BS. The real reason why last night happened is because the New Jersey State Republican Committee is extremely mismanaged and has a very difficult time communicating to the electorate. I've worked on 6 or 7 state legislative races for the Assembly and the state Senate. And there are 2 ways that an election is won or lost. Those 2 ways are how you spend your money and how your candidate spends his or her time. Obviously, a candidate that's running for the Assembly has to court a voting area of roughly 700,000 voters. 700,000 voters can possibly mean all of South Jersey or half of South Jersey, or it could mean a few towns in central Jersey, or half a town in northern Jersey. But the point being is, a candidate cannot competitively seek a seat without a sizable war chest. I think that when NJ.com did their last study, they said that the average amount raised by a candidate for the state legislature is in between 3 and 5 million. Well, if that's the case, how come some of the very hotly contested races last night were so drastically underfunded? Like for example, in LD7, Troy Singleton ran for a state Senate seat on the Democratic ticket. His Republican challenger had less than $200,000 in a swing district. That's ridiculous. Or for that matter, the Republicans knew that Steve Sweeney's seat in LD3 was vulnerable. Why didn't they throw $50,000 to $75,000 at Fran Grenier and see what he could do with it? This is just what I mean. Now, a lot of people are talking about Jen Beck and the terrible surprise upset, her defeat to Vin Gopal. And I want to be honest with you guys about something. Jen Beck is not the greatest candidate. Is she visible? Sure she is. But she's not really a people person. To talk to Jen Beck, unless you're a professional person or unless you're on the crust of the elite, she's not going to be able to relate to you. And when you can't relate to your constituency, they vote you out. And I think that this sends a signal, not just to the 2018 congressional midterm elections, but to 2019. The signal that it sends is that the state GOP is going to have to get its act together. It's going to have to start prioritizing its battles, and it's going to have to start choosing its candidates wiser. I knew right away down in Cape May County that Jeff Van Drew was going to win election. I knew that. I knew that Mary Grucio was not going to take him in LD1. But I still thought that she would get well into the 40s. Last night, she barely secured 1/3 of the vote. It was pretty pathetic. But my prediction is that the next election cycle, we see some drastic changes at the New Jersey State Republican Committee.